Oh, hello there. So I was putting my chair around and got my foot stuck in the computer table. Right. The desk, sorry. Oh, for goodness sake, Jim. Right. So, so whilst looking for things to react to, I don't want to keep on going down the same thing, because usually I think I found that, I'm not saying this channel's not popular, but I think the well-known ones, the extremely well-known ones, the problem is there's a pattern where they all show the same or similar footage. So I thought I'd try a channel which I have reacted to before. But it was November 2022, so it's going quite far back, and it's Scary Videos Billnose. This is top 13 scary videos of creepy creatures. Top 30 scary videos of... Pardon me. Sorry, I need to drink more. Creepy things that'll give you goosebumps. So, as of anything, all the channels I react to, there is a link to the channel in the description below. Oh, for goodness sake, Jim. Alright. Just the size next. Don't too much about ugly looking at. And let's do this. Hopefully they won't give away a preview, because you know I hate that sort of stuff. I hate that as well. It's like, why give it a preview? And there's chills is another one that irritates me, because he tells you what's going to happen before he shows the footage. So we don't want that, because if there is a genuine jump scare in the footage, it won't be a jump scare because we know it's happening. Sorry.
Strange world that we don't fully understand.
Go on, Billnose.
Number 13. Working as a security guard can be a dangerous job, but it becomes all the more unpleasant when you have to deal with supernatural elements, as the guard in this next scary video found out.
Hari ni 5.6. Aku tak faham betul pintu yang tandas tu selalu sangat terbuka. Masuk hari ni dah 12 kali pintu tu terbuka je. Jam sekarang dah pukul 3.24 pagi. Apa nak jadi hari ni, aku akan cari apa benda yang sebab pintu terbuka. Apa nak jadilah. Kamera ni kalau nampak dia jadi bukti, dia jadi saksi untuk malam ni.
Shame we've got subtitles. Okay, now that door's freaky.
Kita tutup lah pintu tu. Kalau terbuka balik.
Incidentally, while I'm loading this and editing, incidentally, while editing and loading this, I'll be working on some lengthy videos to fit with my cult series. I'm doing a video on Who was Lucifer, and there's a 3-part one because there's so much stuff on it. There's a 3-part video on Who is Satan, and well, it's technically a 4th part, but it's I try to separate it so it's like a Who is Satan and in Islam. But it's kind of like, yeah, with those sort of videos, it's one of those ones where it's like, it might be long ones. I'm not sure, so that's why I chopped it up. But with anything, you'd have to concentrate too much on my mug with those. Any video where I don't have pictures to go along with it, some of them I do. Depends what it is and how long it's going to be, and because I don't have sophisticated editing software, and not being horrible, but there are quite a few YouTubers now that have the advantage of having a team who edit their stuff for them. I don't have that luxury. I'm all doing it all on the phone, so it depends how much it's going to be, how much ball ache, so to speak, it's going to be for me. But yeah, but if it's just usually an information video of me just talking about history, blah blah, you don't have to really pay attention to my ugly mug. You can just sit back and listen to something. But yeah, and work on those as well. Come on, where's the shadow bastard?
Sial tu lah. Terbuka lagi lah pintu.
Problem is, it's really hard to tell from down here.
Baru tadi aku tutup balik. Terbuka
Because you've
balik
got pillars there as well, so the light could be, shadow could be from a cliff. What, mate? I don't see
Sial
fuck
tu
all.
aku baru
See
tutup
French.
tak sampai berapa minit. Terbuka lagi pintu ni. Kita tengok apa yang ada kat dalam. Sial tu.
Okay, you're probably saying, yeah, but probably you're using your phone. But no, don't get me wrong. My phone is quite big. It's a Huawei P30 Pro. So I can actually, the whole screen, the whole front of the phone is literally a screen, so I can see it.
Baru tak baru sampai berapa minit. Terbuka balik.
Oh, it's a shadow bastard.
Oi, siapa dalam oi?
I'm having a crap.
Kosong. Kosong juga.
What is that in a sink? And why is it cut? Why is the film cut? Oh, look. Oh!
Astagfirullah.
Oh, look at that. My problem is, though, I must admit, it's not being horrible, though, but before you open the door, there's a cut there, so how do we not know there's a friend that went in there? You know what I mean? But he disappeared to be on his own, didn't he? Well, we don't know, I don't know. You know what I mean? But it's just weird that before we see the shadow blast, there's a cut in the film. Because that could be on a hoodie, you know what I mean?
The guard in the video is speaking in a different language, but I
Oh, it's a
believe he's
guard.
explaining that he's looking after a school. And as he looks at his watch, we can see that it's 3:25 a.m. He then walks through the school,
from Lady
closing
Jessica.
doors that have been left open. As he makes his way outside again, he shines his flashlight on a dark section of the school, and I get the impression that he's feeling somewhat uneasy, though I'm not sure why. He then suddenly begins to run as if he heard something in the building, and as he makes his way inside, he calls out to hear if there's anyone inside, but he gets no reply. He checks several of the rooms on his way, shining his flashlight into the rooms, possibly looking for an intruder. But as he gets to one door, he's clearly tentative, and he opens it very slowly
It was a
to
cut in the
reveal a
film.
bathroom on the other side. But in the next second, he makes a run for it, as what happens to be the top of a head can be seen above the door. Whatever's lurking behind the door must have been huge, as it's taller than the door, and I don't blame him for
That's what
getting
she
out
said.
of there as quickly as possible. Number 12.
See, I'm not doubting it. I'm not actually doubting it. It just seems a bit fishy when it did the cut before he opened the door. You know what I mean? There's a bit of a pause, cut, carried on. You know what I mean? And that always looks a bit dodgy. You know what I mean?
This next clip shows something truly bizarre that needs some explaining, as it seems utterly impossible.
What the fuck's that? Sasquatch. Why is it the first thing they think of is Sasquatch? Mind you, can't actually see anything. There's nothing actually in between those trees. What sort of trees are they? That's really bizarre though. It doesn't look like a creature's knocking them over. It looks like it's swaying. It's like that film. Oh, what's it called? Where all the plants kill people off by spreading this virus around. You see the trees and the grass move around. Maybe it's the tree people. Ants.
This footage was captured with the use of a drone flying over a heavily wooded area. And at first, nothing seems out of place, and it seems quite serene and peaceful. But then something strange begins to happen. One cluster of trees seems to be moving, and it seems like a strong wind may be responsible. But none of the other trees are moving, so that explanation doesn't hold much water. But then it gets even stranger. One of the trees starts to sway drastically, as if it's being pushed and pulled by some massive force. Luckily, the drone operator spots the activity, and he focuses the camera on that spot. The tree continues to sway back and forth for a few more seconds before it's seemingly ripped out of the ground and quite unbelievably carried away.
Oh, yeah.
This is not a small tree, and it must have been standing there for many years, which means...
Yeah, but the thing is, if it weighs that much tons, this is the thing as well. Say, for example, let's just say, for example, argument's sake, that it is some sort of big primate or giant, right? What gets me is if you're a hunter or if you're someone who's filming it, all these videos you see, they seem very recluse. If you could pick up excuse me French, but fuck knows how many tons of tree and carry it off like it's a rag doll, you wouldn't be scared of anything that walks this earth, because if you could lift a tree that big out of the ground and carry it along, it's like you could literally potentially pick up a car and throw it. So it's like, why would it be afraid of humans? It'll rip your bloody, it would just stomp on you. You know what I mean? Just flatten you, it'll rip you apart. It's just like, you know what I mean?
that whatever ripped it out of the ground must have been immensely strong. There have been suggestions that the tree was uprooted by a Sasquatch, but the power needed to do this would be immense, and many have stated that even that beast wouldn't have been capable of this feat. Another question that needs to be answered is why they would need an entire tree, and why did they choose that specific one?
Hey, very Christmas tree.
Number 11.
I want that in my house.
Throughout the ages, people all over the world have spoken of seeing giant human figures, and just like many other mythical creatures, no one has been able to prove their existence.
See, I've watched footage like this, and I'm not. The thing is, I'm not going to deny or acknowledge that they could potentially exist, because there are some things. So there is some footage that, you know, a lot of these footage could just be put down to being faked. But you know what I mean? There's some really bizarre things. You know what I mean? It's like there are temples where it's kind of like their footprints. People said they're obviously, you know, some theories are that these footprints are actually being chiseled in, you know, artistically put in to represent the footprints of the gods. But anyway, it's just there's some really. I don't know. The thing is, nothing would really surprise me in this universe, to be fair. But, yeah, it's just nature is weird. You know what I mean? I don't think you'll get giants who are 20 foot tall and like that, but I mean, if you look at the tallest man in the world, that is like, what the F? And to be fair, because I don't mean to offend anyone. I mean this purely as an analysis of what we could have seen in history that inspired stories of like dwarves and stuff like that. But if you look at, if you look at films like The Willow and Time Bandits, that is quite a lot of people they had. Those they weren't miniaturized like they were in Lord of the Rings. They actually used people who had dwarfism to play those parts. And it's like, that's quite a large. That was a lot of actors. That was quite a large cast. You know what I mean? So if you imagine you have communities of people who've got dwarfism, or people who are tall, and if you know, obviously if people would talk, if people are treated with stigma or treated differently, then it would make sense they form communities. Or even if just someone just saw one of these people and then created the legend. You know what I mean? So it's like, it wouldn't surprise me if you could get like humans that are 7 to 10 foot tall or something stupid like that. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I think it was the tallest man was like 7 foot. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I mean, some of the old wrestlers were quite tall, and I think that's where a lot of stories come from. I don't think they're like 20 foot tall, but no. But some of these footages, yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I can't really say no, and I can't say yeah, but.
But the man filming this unnerving clip may just have done so. This clip was filmed in La Blanca, Mexico, by a man whose father lives in the area. And in fact, he claims that his father lives in the house that we can see just below the top of the hill. We can hear several people discussing what the man is filming, but it's hard to see at first. However, if we focus on the very top of the hill, we can see something that seems out of place. A human figure can be seen walking across the top of the hill, and when it's compared to the houses below, it must be absolutely massive. It also has a lumbering gait, suggesting that it's taking massive steps as it progresses over the hill. Most people who have viewed this scary video believe that this is a giant that was caught on camera, while others think there must be a more logical explanation. Would you have the courage to travel to the top of the hill for a closer look, or do you think it wiser to just admire it from afar?
Fuck yeah. I mean, that's the other thing as well. It's like, because there's a controversial TikTok series of videos, and he allegedly filmed this giant on this mountain, and apparently people from the government were trying to stop him, and they built a base up there and all this sort of shit. To be fair though, if that was true, and I desperately wanted to prove, say for example I saw a blooming giant, and I wanted to desperately prove to you that it was true, I'd go up that fucking hill just to see if I can find it, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, I don't know, it's nothing, so it's like, you get a lot of these footage of these sort of things, but no one ever follows it up, do they? I don't blame, you know, if you're generally scared, I don't blame you, but it's like, you know what I mean? I don't get it, because it's even the basic nature of human curiosity. You know what I mean? It's like, if I saw aliens up on a fucking hill, it's like, I'd shit myself, but then it would be taken over by curiosity. I know, you know, curiosity kills a cat, but hey, you know what I mean? But it's just human nature, curiosity.
And be left wondering what it actually was that you saw. Number 10. We now look to the skies once more for more creepy footage of an inexplicable event.
What am I looking at? Oh, is it that white bit? That could be a bit. That's not necessarily the clouds. That's an effect by the light, the sun's light, the rays of the sun. You know what I mean? Don't forget, the thing is, what makes me laugh, people don't realise that, even though, I mean, the thing is, you can't stare directly at the fucking sun, to be fair, unless, of course, you've got proper equipment. But the sun isn't just this blast of white light, yeah? It's like, I'm not sure if it, oh, mind you can pick up some spots, can't we, so. But the thing is, anyway, the point is, the sun is not just like a big ball of light. It has tendrils and shit and all kinds of things happening to it. So there's going to be fluctuations of output and energy, you know what I mean? So, and with clouds, if you look at, say, if I get rid of it, see you've got the white bit there. It's like, well, there's a different gradients of cloud, and obviously with that different gradients, plus with the combined fluctuations of light, will cause that effect. Because if you notice, it's not like it goes boom, 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 and then boom, boom. You know what I mean? It's not as if it's a conscious thing moving, but it's like a woo. If you look at movement, it's like a fluctuation. So that could be a fluctuation of light combined with the clouds. Don't get me wrong, it looks odd as F, but oh, hang on. Right. But mind you, what the fuck is that? It's like a little pillar. That's odd because that's a pillar. It's disconnected. It's got a dot of light at the top. Stop going dark on me, bastard.
This clip, filmed in Singapore, shows a set of clouds hanging in the sky.
But it could be
and you'd be forgiven for thinking that they were just capturing the beauty of nature. That is, until something more sinister occurs. The first bit of activity is hard to spot, as it's very brief, but when the clip is slowed down, we can see a strange light moving behind the clouds. Thankfully, the person filming decides to zoom in and the activity becomes much clearer. The light is moving in an unnatural way, and at one point, it arches away from the darker clouds. It then retracts slowly back before shooting outward again. It then seems to almost flip with another beam of light that takes its place before fading away. But the process quickly repeats itself again a few seconds later, with another arc and a beam of light shooting out from behind the clouds. Before the strange video comes to an end, the light seems to almost dance among the clouds, much to the confusion of those looking on from the ground below. Some commenters believe that this is the work of Project Bluebeam, a popular conspiracy theory, while many others have stated their belief that this is an extraterrestrial event caught on camera. Either way, most viewers agree that whatever the lights are, they don't seem to be of a natural origin. Number 9. This next...
Also, because we've got no sound, was there lightning that day as well? There's all kinds of things like... Because nature does some really weird stuff with clouds, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So it's hard to say.
The baffling clip was filmed in Monroe, Louisiana, and people are divided as to what the actual cause is.
Te hubieras ido por ahí para que lo tomáramos mejor. Para que viéramos exactamente qué es.
This inexplicable video shows a solitary cloud floating in a bright blue sky, something that we see on a near daily basis. But this cloud is acting differently from the ones that we're used to seeing, and it's causing a lot of confusion among people who have watched the clip. To start out with, the cloud already seems to be hanging at an unnatural angle, if there's such a thing for clouds, but it feels like it should be horizontal with the ground rather than vertical as it is in the clip. But when things...
Yeah, it's not that though. It looks like a solid bit of polystyrene that's moving like that. Bizarre.
Let's get even stranger. The cloud begins to rotate on its axis without changing shape at all, as would be expected if this was being caused by wind. But just before this baffling video ends, it stops its rotation and seems to elongate towards the sky, as if it's readying itself for blast-off. While many people claim this video to be altered, many more have defended it, noting that there are other videos of the same event that were captured from different parts of town. It truly is a strange one that I, for one, cannot explain. Number 8.
Pardon me.
We now go to Baxter, Tennessee, where this next scary clip was being filmed, and it shows a massive creature lurking in the woods.
Hey, do you see that? Do you see that? I'm afraid to... Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's got 8-ply arm, hasn't it?
Did you see that?
As soon as the creepy clip begins, we can hear the man filming saying, "Do you see that? I'm afraid to..." But he stops mid-sentence, and we can see why. Just ahead of him in the tree line, a huge dark creature can be seen leaning out behind a tree and looking directly at him.
It's pulling...
It then moves back behind...
The way, you know, the orangutan moves along sideways, or moves along, it does that thing with its arms. That's what I'm seeing here. I mean, it could be a guy in the seat, you know what I mean? But, you know what I mean?
Behind the tree, almost as if it's afraid or shy. But just a few seconds later, it...
Yeah, but, again, I mean, even that tree one wasn't Sasquatch. Give me a second. A lot of people were saying, yeah, but you're dealing with something that's like Chewbacca. If such creature existed, this thing wouldn't fear you, rip fucking arms off. These things could potentially rip your arms off, you know what I mean? Every fucking time, guys. It's fair, I don't get indigestion until it's time. Well, mind you, when he's usually in bed this time of day, but when I'm trying to make a video. I mean, a lot of videos I've seen of Bigfoot. It's like you look at it and go, that's a bear. You know what I mean? But it's just that I could see the arms and stuff.
Moves slowly to an adjacent tree, all while keeping an eye on the man filming it. It then stays in that position for a while, swaying back and forth as if it's making up its mind about where to go. Judging from the sky that's visible through the trees, the clip was taken as the sun was setting, and I hope for this man's sake that he got out of there before night fell. Do you think this is a Bigfoot that was caught on camera? Was it a hoax, or is this just a bear or a similar animal that was passing through the area?
I mean, it could be the lighting effect, but I could see clearly arms on that. Oh, for fuck's sake. Can't win this. Right. But like Casper Sight said, if you're a hunter, and we shouldn't go hunting and killing things that we don't understand. But if you really wanted, if you're a hunter who's supposed to be going, oh, you actually don't even have to fucking kill it, excuse me French. These people who go Bigfoot hunting, what you do is you take a rifle with a tranquilizer dart. Even if you just trank it, tag it, take a photo and let it go on its way. And why is it no one's coming forward with 100% credible evidence? You don't need to shoot it. You know what I mean? Or get also a Texas Ranger or, not Texas Ranger, Forest Ranger, someone with you who's an authority with the, you know, who has legal authority, etc. Take them with you. You know, if it's a regular thing, especially these ghost hunting programs. It's like, why are you taking experts out of here? Get a permit or something. You know, get some tranquilizer things. You know, so that way, if you want to hurt the creature, tranquilize it, take a photo of it, or video of it, whatever. Get the police officer to sign it or the ranger to sign it. All kinds of things you could do. Yeah, no one's come forward. So, meh.
7. We've seen many videos that turn out to be camera glitches, but...
Because that would be, even if it's terrestrial, that's still just as big as finding evidence of aliens, you know what I mean? I mean, come on.
Even if that is the case in this weird footage, it still remains truly creepy.
Oh yeah, I've seen this one, another one. Thing is, that could be a glitch in the camera. Because of drag,
this weird footage seems to be of a security monitor, recorded on a cell phone. From the timestamp, we can tell that it was in October of 2022, almost at the stroke of midnight. As the clip begins, we can see a strange streak fly across the screen, though this may have just been a dust particle that passed in front of the lens. For the next few seconds, nothing much happens. But then, something emerges from behind the tree to the right.
Yeah, because look at the distortion.
A strange, streaky figure seems to walk into the frame, but it's hard to tell exactly what we're looking at here. It seems to be lurching along with an...
Because when it gets... Sorry to interrupt him, but... Because it gets to the end of the shot... So say, for example, you see his feet, and that leaning bit's the head. There's a drag of digital pixels, so there's a glitch in the camera. So... It could be just two people walking down the path and the camera, you know, pixelation.
Unnatural gait, as if it has legs similar to those of a bird. It also seems to be favoring its right leg, and it's walking hunched over, adding to its unnatural movements. But it also seems like there may be two figures walking side by side, as the larger one seems to gesture at something as they pass by. Some suggestions are that this is a person walking a dog, or that it's two people passing by, one walking with a walker.
Yes, it's a glitch.
Was this just another camera artifact, or do you think this clip shows something otherworldly?
Because also, why is it all smudged? It's all meshed. All the pixels of the people walking, or whatever is walking, and the floor is all like dragged out. And if the camera drags out, I mean, there's something wrong with your camera.
6.
Glitch digital.
As we've seen in the past, this world is filled with things that are impossible to explain, and this next clip is no exception.
Oh, look at that.
In this truly creepy clip, a man is filming down a quiet street at night when he spots something that unnerves him. In the distance, under a tree next to the road, a human figure can be seen walking into the street, and it seems completely normal, just someone going for a walk down the road. But it does seem to be walking in an odd way, as if its legs weigh more than they should. Still, it doesn't seem all that weird. But the man filming the video had a strange feeling, and he decided to take a few photos instead. What he saw then is truly strange, and we can see why he was freaked out. In the still image that he took, the same figure appears, but it seems completely unnatural. Its legs are impossibly long, and we can see that it towers above the cars parked by the side of the road. Thanks to the flash on this man's camera, the area was completely lit up as he took the photo, revealing the figure in its entirety, and its nightmare.
That's a bloody good flash from all that distance, to be fair, though. You know what I mean? I don't know, because... Yeah, because if it's down the other end of the road and he's fired a flash there, because that light looks like it's coming from a lamp to the side. I don't know, mate, but yeah, that's... yeah.
Fuel, to say the least. There have been some theories that this may be a night crawler that was skulking around the area, while some people think that it was merely a trick of the light caused by the camera's flash. All I know for sure is that if I came across this site,
look how far away it
I
is.
wouldn't be hanging around to find out.
How does a flash
Number
make it that
5.
far? That's quite a good flash.
The only comment on this next creepy video is someone telling the uploader to move out of that house as soon as they can.
Oh, look at that.
And it isn't hard to see why they feel that way.
Oh, that's fucking clever, isn't it? Now, just give me a second. Oh, it's probably going for the fucking desk. I hate that when that happens, excuse me French. Sorry about this. Sorry about that. Basically this was a leaf rolled down. It's a stone. I'm going to stick it onto this. Make my own sort of scepter, what do you call it? Pardon me. Oh, look at... Oh, no, fuck off.
The scary video is recorded from outside the doorway.
Yeah, fuck off. Oh, I didn't expect that was going to happen. Oh, man. Oh, look at that.
The house with the staircase leading to an upstairs room. A light is trained on the center of the doorway and it reaches the interior, illuminating the stairs inside. As the clip starts, a person can be seen walking up the stairs, passing through the light as they do. But it's what happens next that's truly inexplicable. Almost immediately after the person walks out of the camera's view, a strange shadow appears at the bottom of the stairs. But it moves in a ghostly fashion, gliding across the doorway to the foot of the staircase, where it then begins to climb, following the person that just passed by. But the strange activity only continues from there. After the shadowy figure reaches the top of the stairs, there are a few moments of inactivity until a door to the right of the screen swings open without explanation. But it quickly swings shut again, and in a gap next to the door, A strange white face appears, and it seems to be peering right at the camera. If that was my house, I would take that commenter's advice and make sure
I've just got like chicken on my arms and chicken on my legs.
I moved out of there as soon as I could. Number 4.
Oh.
This next haunting clip comes from Bakersfield, California, where a man filmed some creepy activity in his house.
It was his voice. I thought something was like,
So I came out here. It's about 5:50 something in the morning. We did not, as far as I know, have an earthquake. This has happened one time before. However, this is freaking. Alright, here we go. So this is a old hatch. Let me see if I can pull it up. Okay. Oops. Alright, so this hatch belongs to my girlfriend's grandmother. And the strange thing about it is, at the other house, I used to see reflections in the glass. So we have this light that for some reason is swinging after hearing a loud noise. And we have this light there we go, that's hanging from the ceiling here, that is not swinging. It's perfectly still. There's no reason for this other light to be swinging, and there's definitely no reason for this door to be open. This is not an easy door to open. It's solid wood, and when you push it, it locks into place. The last time this happened was a month or two ago, and it happened at night, and we were not smart enough to get a camera and to try to record. So I'm going to try to ask some questions here real quick. Sorry, I'm a little shaky. I just woke up. Maybe someone out here is going to want to talk to us. See, that light's not even swinging. Alright, Manny. Manny was the name, I believe, of her grandmother that had this hutch. I think, no, that's not her, that's Angie. Alright, Manny. Well, first, is there anyone here that would like to talk to me? Is there a message you'd like to say? No, I'm just curious. Manny? Is that you? Is there, can you say something or move something if it's you? I mean, this was incredible to move that again and that to be open, but, Manny, can you please, make a noise? Can you move one of the figures? Can you move something so that...
Surprised you can hear him without whispering. Can you show me a sign?
So that, I don't know. Please, move something and let me know that you're here. What was that? Okay. I think
tell it to close the door. Get it to shut the cabinet door if it opened it, you know what I mean?
As the clip begins, the man can be heard explaining that he's just been woken up by a loud noise in his house just before 6 a.m. He adds that this has happened once before, and we can see a light fixture that's hanging from the ceiling swinging back and forth. He turns the light on to see better and explains that the cabinet in front of him belongs to his girlfriend's grandmother, and we can see that one of the cabinet's doors is open. He says that while the cabinet was in the previous house, he would often see strange reflections in the glass. He then points out that another fixture in the adjacent room isn't swinging at all, and he's confused as to why the first one is. He then closes the cabinet door, showing that it locks into place and couldn't easily open by itself. He then decides to ask some questions in case the grandmother, named Manny's spirit, is trying to communicate. He asks, "Manny, is that you? Can you move something if it's you?" He then says, "Please move something and let me know that you're here." And in the next second, a sound can be heard to his right, but he's unable to tell what it was that moved. He then says, "Give me a sign that it's you." And a chair to his right moves by itself. He's clearly trying to make sense of it all, but ends up saying, "Okay, this is kind of weird." And I fully agree. Number 3. Next, we look at strange footage taken in Japan, and I for one would love to hear an explanation for whatever this is that was caught on camera.
Got some transparent bits on the side and light. Oh, now it's got a transparent bit in the centre.
The creepy footage was filmed by an occupant in a car, and it shows an object floating in the sky. Its shape is unusual, as it resembles a ring donut with a hole in the center. This by itself is pretty weird and creepy, but the footage only gets stranger from here on out. As we watch, the strange object starts to change shape, first becoming completely solid, with the hole in the middle disappearing completely. Next, a hole seems to appear on each side, but they quickly disappear too, and the object seems perfectly round for a few moments. But as the holes return, we can see that it seems to be rotating as it morphs into different shapes. All of a sudden, it seems to be missing a part of its left side, as if it had been dented, and that's when things get really weird. On its right side, a light suddenly appears and seems to slip in and out of the object, which is still changing shapes. While the hole in the middle of the object returns, the light is still visible, but it soon switches to the opposite side as the hole disappears again, to be replaced by the holes on either side. These holes then change position before the scary video comes to an end. This is truly baffling footage that needs to be explained. What do you think was captured here? Number 2. Going to the gym every day is not an easy task, but if your gym has the same type of activity as the one in this next creepy video, we suggest that you avoid it altogether. The clip begins with a man standing in the gym, and it seems like he's warming up before starting his workout. But in the back of the room, a set of equipment is moving by itself, even though there's no one nearby. In a corridor behind it, a light is suddenly switched off. However, that could just be someone in the adjacent room. The man seems to be done with his warm-ups, and he walks over to a rack containing more equipment.
I've seen this one before.
But one piece of equipment suddenly rolls across the floor, taking him by surprise. The man gets a fright and immediately walks over to his belongings, seemingly deciding to get out of there as fast as he can. He picks up some clothing and a backpack and makes his way across the room, but he doesn't get far, as he's pushed over by an invisible force. As he struggles to get up, his leg is pulled upward, but he manages to break free and flee for his life. I'm not sure what happened here, but I do know that no workout is worth that kind of stress. Number 1. The footage in this following scary video has reportedly been verified by not only video experts, but paranormal experts, and they could find no evidence that it's been faked. See what you can make of it. From the very beginning of the clip, we can see a strange apparition standing in a room, and it seems to open a door to the left just before a man enters the room. The figure seems to be dressed all in white, and as the man enters the room, he seems tentative and confused. As he walks in, the apparition seems to gesture to the right, as if trying to direct him. The man would later state that he felt a weird presence behind him as he walked in. In a second, even creepier clip, the same man decides to leave the room, but behind him, we can see the image of an old woman walking behind him, as if she wants to follow him. But she soon disappears into thin air, and we're left with nothing but questions. I can only imagine what he would have done if he was able to see her standing there in the darkness. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that...
Oh, that was interesting. Some explained. Some, there was a couple that came with chicken, especially like face in the dark. Like, ooh. But yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I mean, better than the last video I reacted to, but yeah. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think some strange objects were? What do you think that cloud thing was? Yeah, so let me know. Yeah. Like I said, it wasn't that great, but it was better than the last video, because the last video was like, ugh, you know what I mean? Anyway, thanks for sitting through this with me and watching it with me. And like I said, I've got some video bits and bobs to work on. And with that, I shall see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.